Hey, what is up guys? It is Slikk here. I'm back again with another video. In this one, talking about Batman Arkham City, looking back on it just like I did for Batman Arkham Knight. Now in that video is a lot more personal about my, experience with the game, my initial experience with the game, from pre-release all the way up to when I first played it and my initial thoughts on it, that sort of thing. Admittedly, 4+ years ago, well actually now we're looking at basically 5 years ago and 7 for Arkham Asylum, I don't exactly remember my first impressions. I was 14 years old when I first played Arkham City and 12 when I played Asylum. So instead, what I'm doing for these two games is more so, talking about my replay and my experience with them. I've beaten Asylum and returned to Arkham City. I'm probably more than 2/3 of the way through. And by the way, I've given up on my walkthrough. It's so screwed up because every time I do a live stream, I want to put it into video format. Like I play like an hour or so, and eventually it gets copyright claimed every time because it is music from the game, which is a joke in and of itself. And it's just a mess. And also I have gameplay where I'll just switch games or talk randomly, and it's not succinct like my Arkham Asylum one was. So I'm pretty much given up on that. But maybe I'll upload some gameplay from time to time. It still amazes me, like how many views those videos get. Like I just uploaded me playing as the Joker in Arkham Asylum. I get like 60K or something like that. So it's kind of ridiculous to think that's the case. But anyway, I may continue doing that in the future. But as for now, I have ceased the Arkham City walkthrough. But I am still playing the game. I play pretty regularly. I'd say probably a few times a week. And also Arkham Knight, I still probably play once a week. But anyway, I want to talk about Batman Arkham City, looking back on it, and as much as I can, my first impressions of the game. I do remember that, of course, with that game, my probably only memory from 2011 when the game came out is the hype around what happened at the end of the game, which, of course, I'm not going to be cautious about spoiling. And people still do get mad at me. I see comments from videos about, like, I don't know, some of my more popular discussion videos for Arkham Knight, and I'll list the whole playlist in the description below if you want to check them out. There's well over 100 actually. Like who should have been the Arkham Knight. People are like, there's no spoiler warning in this video, and it's like, well, the game came out 2 years ago. I sort of figured that you played it already if you're watching a video about who should have been the Arkham Knight. But anyway, so Arkham City, of course the Joker dies at the end of it, and that was a moment that sort of like it sent its shockwaves throughout pop culture and that sort of thing. It expanded beyond just video games, which I can pretty safely say that Asylum really didn't in the same degree. Arkham City was a huge success, and Asylum was sort of a surprise, and Arkham City, people were expecting a lot from it, and indeed they got a lot from it. In that game, one of the biggest things that stood out to me replaying it is how much of, like, unapologetically it is a comic book game. You know what I mean? It's written by Paul Dini, of course. And I think it is alongside Arkham, Rocksteady's team, but maybe not. And of course, Arkham Knight was solely written by, Rocksteady, as I suspect their next video game will be. And a lot of people had issues with the writing in the game. I think that some of the big plot twists that the Arkham games love so much sort of fell flat, and you can't really beat the fake Joker gag, right? But even then, the Joker stuff and showing Jason Todd 30 minutes before you reveal him, that's probably not the best storytelling mechanic to have that big reveal. But at the same point, you sort of have to, because a lot of fans don't know who the second Robin is, because there's freaking 70,000 of them, and if you don't really follow that stuff, then you can get lost. So it's a lose-lose situation for Rocksteady. However, I do think that Rocksteady, they're a set of talented writers. Not only that, they understand Batman to an unparalleled degree in the mainstream media, and without a shadow of a doubt, Batman Arkham City, I think, is the pinnacle of showing Batman in the most comic accurate sense that's faithful to the character in the mainstream ever. Far beating out all the movies, but even more so, I won't say the animated films, but up there with them for sure. Wouldn't really call animated films mainstream. I think they very much so have a niche audience, generally speaking. Video games, everybody plays them, right? Arkham City is an insanely popular video game. So that big event at the end, I think I remember seeing it on the news. Like, they killed the Joker, holy shit. So, of course, that's a big deal, and it was a shocker that none of us were really expecting after Arkham Asylum. Sort of a goofy ending to the game, with the boss fight, and he's, so it's a big change from that, where he's dead, period. Now, I do remember as well, right after playing the game, I was like, conspiracy theory motherfucking young Slick here, okay? So I was on the case, you know, being a little detective or whatever, you know, I was 14 at the time again, but I had every conspiracy theory that he was alive, you know? And I think we all did. I remember talking with friends at school about that. It's like, no, he's not dead. No. He's gonna come back. You know, Batman takes him out front and Jim Gordon gives him CPR, you know, whatever, I don't know. But, yeah, we had all sorts of conspiracy theories. He was going to come back, and then leading up to Arkham Knight, probably a year before, they were like, no, he is dead, and then they show the gameplay footage of you know, burning him alive, and like, yeah, he's 100% dead. And, of course, they still managed to bring him back for Batman Arkham Knight. But no, he was 100% dead, and I was totally wrong about that. And I think, all had a little bit of a doubt. Like, no, there's no way it's really dead. It's the double fake Joker gag. You killed Clayface, the second Clayface, his brother or something. I don't know. I will say this, that the ending of the game was incredibly shocking, of course. But actually, the most shocking moment to me in that game, and maybe my most fond memory from either to Asylum or City, because I was pretty young when I played it for the first time, is the Catwoman scene, okay? So you're walking out of the vault with the money, and you can choose to either walk up the steps, or you can choose to go left and go save Batman. I was curious, okay? I didn't actually want to make this choice in a way, and I was like, it's not really gonna matter anyway, okay? So I went to the right. I was like, I'm gonna get up on out of here, and then we'll just cut to Batman and place him, because of course Batman's not dead. So I walk out as Catwoman, okay? Again, I'm 14. I walk out of the game, and the credits roll. I'm like, no, I was 14, so I said, fudge, God fudge and dang it. So I was not happy that this happened, and I legit thought the game was over. I kid you not. I thought that, like, the game's over. It's done. Okay, so Batman's dead. We've got Oracle talking about how everything's on fire, blah, blah, blah. And maybe now I wouldn't, you know, be so quick to jump to this. But when I first played it, I was like, nope, it's over. Oh my God, I can't believe I did this. And I was pressing start, trying to restart and like, go back, because I want to keep playing because, you know, the story's picking up pace really big at this point. And nope, the game is freaking over. So I'm just like, I've got this blank stare like, on my face. I mean, I know it's a commentary, you can't see, but I'm just like mind blown that they gave us this choice, and I didn't have the doubt that like they were gonna rewind it back, and you know, of course. But I just thought that moment was brilliant, and one of the big shocking moments that they have in the game. And one also thing that sort of caught me off guard replaying Asylum and City is the amount that the Arkham games love like these trippy moments, you know, flashbacks with your parents and just like you going crazy and your mind going nuts on you and you're seeing things, you know, that's a big thing in Asylum and City, and in Night it's there a lot too with Scarecrow. So like all three of the Rocksteady Arkham games feature that very, very heavily. Origins less so, although there is a little bit of that if I do with Copperhead, I believe there's a little bit of it, so I guess all four Arkham games feature that. But the Rocksteady games is like a big part of everything. It's just like your mind is playing with you. You got the Joker everywhere. So City, I think, probably does it, you know, like the second most behind Asylum. So, you know, that's sort of like a signature of the Arkham game. So if there's ever another Arkham game, just make sure you have trippy scenes where you're like tripping on acid and you're pretty much set. You've got 50% of the equation right there. But overall, yeah, as I said, one of the things replaying it that really caught me off guard is how much of like an unapologetic comic book story that it is, written by Paul Dini. And it really has the animated series vibes to it, at least for me personally. And one of the things, a little critique of the game that I didn't notice in my first playthrough, is that some of the middle to like 2/3 of the way through the game, when you're tracking down the cure, you're basically going all the way around Arkham City finding the cure. You're going to Freeze, and then you're going underground to Wonder City, which is an amazing part of the game, by the way. And that's one of the great things about the game, is that even though it takes place in a very compact area, like just the diversity of gameplay and just the aesthetic and environments, you know, you're in a museum and you're in the GCPD building, and then you're underground in like this utopian sort of like weird future, you know, society. It's really cool. I mean, they did a great job with that. Whereas we see other games that can get sort of, you know, tiresome and boring with the environments, especially if it's as limited as the one in Arkham City was. So I absolutely love that about the game, but even more so, as I was mentioning, you know, I noticed one thing, a little critique that I had, is that in those moments of the game when you're going from place to place, the game feels a little bit selfish. Batman feels like his journey is a little bit just to save him, and maybe I missed a line of dialogue, but to me, it just feels like he's trying to get a cure for himself, and they don't really emphasize that, like, I need to get the cure for all the people in the hospitals that Joker poisoned. They only mention that once. So instead of it being like a thing where he's saving the city, it feels much more so like he's going to cure himself, which Batman is not one particularly concerned about that. I mean, of course, he doesn't want to die. He's not suicidal. At the same point, if he has to sacrifice himself for a city, he's more than willing to do that. He knows that each night when he goes out on patrol. In terms of also saving the Joker, which we see as a main theme throughout the game, and it really reflects his morality even when he's confronted with Ra's al Ghul. Kill him and he is immortal, basically. And he doesn't want immortality. I don't think he wants to live past 90, to be honest with you. He's kind of a grumpy guy, as we know. However, we do see that he could pretty much live this, this stuff is cured from him. And he does not take it just because he won't kill on principle. Even though Ra's al Ghul is like a zombie dude. He's not even a guy anymore, really. He still will not sacrifice his morality. He also reveals at the end he would have saved the Joker, which is just the biggest middle finger to everybody. That's, I think a great irony. People like to say, I find a lot of younger, people like 13, 14 Batman fans that advocate like, oh no, I like it when Batman kills, but also Batman Arkham City is the best Batman video game ever made, which is literally a walking metaphor at like 5 different points in the game of Batman's morality and golden rule. So it's a little bit ironic, I'm not gonna lie. Of course, you can I like Batman v Superman where Batman murks people. I don't like when Batman murks people. I still like the movie though. And I think that may be the case for fans that are proponents of Batman murking people. That may be an option in the newest Slikk game that we have from WB Games Montreal. Who knows? But anyway, as I said, just a little thing I noticed. They should have mentioned more often and repeat a little bit more that, he's trying to save the city and all those people that had their blood poisoned with the Joker toxin and that sort of thing. But again, a very minor complaint. I mean, I am nitpicking because I'm looking for things to sort of critique the game. It is, without a doubt, the best superhero video game ever made. By the way, different from my favorite. People are going to comment that in my Arkham Knight looking back video, which I'll also link in the description. And I mentioned that Arkham Knight is my favorite game, partially because what it means to me. That's the game I became a YouTuber for, and all those things I mentioned in that video, but also because it's a fun game. Gameplay's fun. I like having the Batmobile, that sort of thing. But Arkham City is definitely the best, objectively speaking. And it tells an amazing comic book story that loops together and really highlights the strength of Batman's rogue gallery to an unprecedented degree that we've not seen in any of the other films, even animated stuff. Just seeing all those rogues play an important role in the story, which I think is the biggest fault of Arkham Knight, is that you've got the Penguin and Two-Face in it, but they don't matter at all. And telling a two-villain story in Arkham Knight, I think sort of hurt it a little bit and was one of the strengths of Batman Arkham City, because his rogue gallery is so strong. To only focus on 2 villains seems smart in theory, to focus on the villains and really basically develop them well, but I think Arkham City did it best. As for Paul Dini, I will say that Paul Dini, Batman the Animated Series writer of Arkham City, his involvement's a little bit overstated. His brilliance, people are like, oh, look, I mean, the Arkham series started to tank when Paul Dini wasn't involved. I think Arkham Origins is a pretty good story, and Arkham Knight has a pretty good one as well, in my personal opinion. So maybe it's a little overstated how reliant, basically any Batman game is doomed if Paul Dini isn't on it. I don't think that's the case, but his brilliance is no doubt seen in Batman Arkham Asylum and in Batman Arkham City. Overall, Batman Arkham City, I mean, it is just like sort of the quintessential superhero video game. I think that it will not forever be the best superhero video game, but it will always mean something just because it was the first of that caliber. And again, not bashing Asylum, but it just really was on a whole nother level, that game was. In scale and size and scope, and then the story that they were telling was really remarkable and something that we had never seen up to that point. And again, I think it's going to be a challenge to face up to that, but that's really what the future video game creators for the superhero genre have to compete with, and they have to be trying to up that. And I would love to see actually Paul Dini recur to take on another superhero video game and write that, because what we've seen is that, good writers are good writers across the board. You can look at that with J.K. Rowling and Fantastic Beasts, which some people don't like, but most people do. If you can write a good story, you can write it in just about any medium, whether that's screenplay and novels. I bet Paul Dini could write an amazing novel. Just like it doesn't even have to be Batman. If you're a good storyteller, then you can tell good stories, no matter what medium that's in. And Paul Dini really showed that in Batman Arkham City. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and if you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up. Don't want to ramble on too long. I'll be doing the same thing for Batman Arkham Asylum. Have some things I'm really excited to talk about in that video lined up. So be sure to look forward to that if you enjoyed this series looking back on. We're gonna cover Batman Arkham Asylum in my next iteration of this series. I guess there's only going to be one more, so it's not really like a full series, and I don't know when that's going to come out. I do have some other videos planned throughout the day. Be sure to subscribe for daily uploads related to superhero video games, and let me know your thoughts on this video in the comment section below. PSX is approximately 6 days away, so 5 days away, excuse me. So 5 days until PSX. Cannot wait to see what we get there related to superhero video games. I'm also considering starting a walkthrough for The Amazing Spider-Man 2. As soon as I said that, everybody on Twitter is telling me how much it sucks. I'm sort of thinking, I don't care. I want to play Spider-Man video games. So, yes, let me know if you want to see that or if you'd watch that in the comment section below. My name is Slikk. I'll see you all in the next one.